Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. Hope everybody's having a great week. Commercial customer brought in their Stihl MS 462. Says the chain's not adjusting correctly and it's making a terrible sound. So I thought I'd bring you along with me to tear her apart and see what's going on. Now this thing is a beast of a saw. The MS 462, you can run like a 16-inch through a 36-inch bar comfortably on it. It has like 72 cc's of power. Definitely a good one for all the commercial guys. Now, he didn't bring his chain in whenever he dropped this off, which I won't be able to know if the chain was the issue for the sound, but usually it has something to do with the sprocket or the clutch. Now, he said it was not adjusting. I'll give you all a second. Can y'all tell what's wrong with it? And it was also making a bad sound. Once again, I'm going to give you just a second. Can you tell what's wrong with it? All right, time's up, guys. The actual nipple that is welded onto the tensioner slide that fits inside the bar hole right here to move the bar forward and backwards, it's not there. It's completely gone. The sound, I'm going to say, could definitely be from this extremely worn out rim sprocket. Let me blow her off a bit and we'll tear her apart. Now, even though I do know that the rim sprocket is an issue, we're going to make sure that the clutch is okay too. Not the reason it's making any weird sounds. Yeah, that thing's really thin inside. Oh, at one point, they rolled the chain on the sprocket itself. Look at that. Look at that indentation there. Okay, springs still look good, clutch still looks together. Blow that out, but I think it's good to go. We're going to check our needle bearing here. Looks good. We're going to give it a little grease. So the only way an indentation like that could have happened and the chain ran on this part of the sprocket is from at some point they went completely through a rim sprocket, broke it in pieces, and was riding it on this back base itself, which is not the first time I've seen it. Also, while we got the sprocket off, you want to get a good look at this chain brake here, make sure that it's still working correctly and that it hasn't been rubbing on anything to wear it out. And take our T27, it's just one screw here to remove this cover. And this is our chain tensioner. Removing the chain adjuster is easy. It's only one screw holding it in. You are going to want to take it all out straight in one motion instead of trying to get half and half out because it will get lodged in there. So I'm just going to get one of my picks once I get this screw out and pull it out. Now, once we have it off, we are going to want to check these gears and make sure that they're not stripped out, which they look fine, actually. I think it was just this nipple part right here that broke plumb off. It's supposed to look like this. Gotta get this apart. Wow. Check that out. That's supposed to be at a 90. They wrenched down on that thing hard. All right, I'm going to try to do this upside down and backwards so it's right side up for y'all. Now we have our little spacer retainer here that's going to go in this slot. We're going to want to put the block side towards the outside. The two little prongy side goes towards the adjuster. We just slide that on the end here. Now, like I said, when we took it out, we do want to sort of install it all back together because when we put the other gear on, it sort of sits slightly underneath here. So we need to have it all together as we set it back down in. So I'm just going to put everything down like that. Line everything up correctly. All right, maybe I shouldn't have gone upside down and backwards. There we go. And get in your hole. in your hole, just like that. Now I can put my screw back in. Let's make sure that we're adjusting correctly. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, bringing it forward is tightening it. So we're going to go backwards. Ooh, look at that. So nice. Pop on our greased bearing. When we put our sprocket back on, there is a little notch out of the side of it that we need to line up with a little prong sticking out the back, which works our oiler. So got to break out the flashlight. Well, I just ran into another issue. Now I could just continue on with what I was doing, put it all back together, and it will work for a while. But look what I just found. You know, that worm gear, oiler gear I told you need to look for the end of so you can get your sprocket back on it? Well, I found the end of it. Let me see if I can show you. You see that wafer thin, worn out little piece of metal right there? That's fixing to break plumb off? Yeah, that's it. It's got to be replaced. So, looks like we're going to backtrack just a little bit, and I'm going to remove this clutch. Now, to remove this clutch, we got to stop the flywheel. So, got to break out our piston stop and tear her apart a little more. Ooh, that needs to be cleaned up. Now for these that have the smaller plug, it takes a 10mm piston stop. I don't think I've added these to my Amazon store. I will definitely do that because I didn't even think about it. But I would like to thank everybody who has gone to my Amazon store and purchased things. Because of you, I never have to get sponsors. So that's pretty awesome. If you're looking for Christmas presents, there's lots of ideas in my list. Go check it out. All right. Take my greasy bearing off here and let's pop off this clutch. So when you take a clutch off, it is backwards. So we're going to want to go forward clockwise to loosen it up. Make sure that you have it all the way tight against the top of your piston before you jack it off, because you will blow a hole in the top of your piston if you sling it around too fast with the piston stop. Ask me how I know. All right, it is a deep 19 to remove this clutch. Oh, Lord. Get this worm. Oh, wow. I have never seen one. Gosh, I want you to be able to see that. I've never seen one that thin before. That thing has got all of its money's use out of it. Wow. It's wafer. Get the dirt off it. It is like wafer thin. That's crazy. Oh, no. This is my parts to be ordered. And the worm gear 112-86407-112. I don't have one. I used the last one. I gotta go get more. Well, I just texted my guy over at Stihl, asked him if he had a worm gear. He said no, he'll have me one by Monday, so I'll have that plus the one I need for stock. I probably have something laying around here though. You know me, I got lots of stuff. Let me look. All right, to the pile it is. I know, this pile hurts some of y'all's brains, doesn't it? But there's thousands of dollars worth of parts here, and I can't throw it away. And every time I need something that I don't have, I got one here somewhere. Let's find one. Now, what I'm looking for here is something with that same size sprocket. And I got lots of options. Really, I'm just going for whatever's closest that I can grab easiest without, getting bit by snakes. I know a lot of you are always worried about me getting eaten up, but if you just don't think they're there 99.9% of the time, you never get bit by a snake. I see it. It's in the middle of the pile. But look at that. That looks like a big sprocket there. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Got it. Okay, get this one out of the way. This stuff looks all brand new. See, this is like $50 worth of parts. Not like I'd charge $50, but still, it is $50 worth of parts. Now I'm going to grab this sprocket. Look at that. That's the same size. Sweet. Ooh, that's stuck. What's this thing put on with Loctite? Woo! There we go, baby. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Is it the same size? It is. Sort of. Not. 1125. So I guess I'll go grab another one. Alright. I got a 311 right here. Oh, the clutch looks scary, but it might have a good worm gear. Let's check. And these are the days of our lives. Alright, guys. Say a little prayer for me. Why does Stihl, it's not just Stihl, all manufacturers, why do they do this? They just want us to stock more parts. That's all it is. Okay. This is the one I'm trying to replace. The wafer thin one right here. This is what I'm pulling out of a lot of the other big chainsaws. Look at the difference in those hoop-de-hoops right there. Okay. But the fact is, if you put one right next to each other, here, I'll put them on my face so you can see where it rides in the chainsaw. How tall this is exactly the same as this one. I do not understand this extra long swoop-de-swoop in it. I don't think that makes absolutely any difference whatsoever. The only main difference that I have an issue with, that I don't believe I can use this one, is that the ones I have that are good are taller than the 500s. I could, it's not fun, take this spring off and put it on this one and see if that works. Or I can just go ahead and throw my customer's old one back in there and tell him he has to, use it until Monday, till my order comes in, and I get a new one. I'm thinking that's the best course of action. Because even though this thing's wafer thin, it is a strong metal and it'll probably hold over the weekend. So I guess I'm going to go ahead, give this thing a good blow job, get her all cleaned up, put everything back together, check and see if she's oiling, give her back to my customer. Now that we got her together, we are going to give her a go and make sure that she's oiling. Oh, put on choke. I do not use the decompression trigger. If you saw my if your chainsaw is hard to start video, I don't like to use them because a lot of times it can make them flood out if you don't give a good pull in the first time. I always come through, couple strokes. This thing's got a ton of compression. That way it'll, hopefully work the metering diaphragm inside the carburetor, give it a little bit of fuel into the cylinder, and pop off. Come past that first stroke, get to where there's tension in the rope. There we go. She popped off, so I take her off choke. Come on. Well, sorry about that pause. I ain't gonna lie. I ate dinner like 30 minutes ago between making this video, and y'all almost saw it come back up. Thankfully, that didn't happen. All right, we got her all fixed up, and she's not making any more crazy sounds. I want to thank you all so much for tuning back into Chickanic. And don't forget, if you are looking for a gift for that special someone, check out my Amazon store where I have the Depth-Tech HD endoscopes. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if you go super fancy or super affordable. These make awesome gifts. Now, if you ain't tired of me yet, check this video out right here.